Hey everyone, Matt here on another edition of Ask Ron. Ron, how you doing today?
Very good. Beautiful day here in Jacksonville, Florida. Not a cloud in the sky.
Can't beat that.
Well, you could, because it could be about 20 degrees cooler.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not lying.
Yeah.
All right, we have a few questions today, so let's go ahead and jump right on into them. The first four we have are from Robert Straker out in Oregon. Robert says, how long of a wait do we have until you can reply to our email questions for you?
Um, you could probably answer that, Matt. Depends on where they come from, doesn't it? The
Yeah, I
question,
would say 2 weeks at most.
well, not even that normally, because we record this about every Thursday. So all the
Mhm.
questions we have up till that week we put on here. So depends on when we got it. And I'm just gonna have to assume he presented them through the Gold Club site here. So if it comes in on Thursday afternoon, it probably won't be answered until the following week.
Yep, that's right. But I think we're pretty good at answering all your questions. Well, you're pretty good at answering the questions. I just kind of present them to you.
Yeah.
All right. Robert's next question is, I want to know if you are going to come up here in the Northwest at all in the next few months. Many potential real estate students are anxiously waiting for you to come up here to teach us your real estate investing methods.
Well, that's nice to hear, but you're not on my calendar for the next few months, but we haven't done next year's yet. We'll be doing that. And to be honest with you, I've already made up my mind. Next year, we're going to do at least one boot camp out in the West somewhere, just haven't decided where. So where is he at in Washington?
He's in the Northwest. I believe he's in Oregon. Yep.
Oregon. Okay. Uh, Stay posted. When we get the new schedule done, we'll post it on the website here.
Perfect. All right. Robert's next question is, what are your plans, if any, to give us Gold Club members more chances to earn more Gold Club points each month?
Well, only way I can give you more points is to be more active on the site, because you get points when you're on the site. But when I do events, sometimes I offer extra Gold Club points with the purchase of whatever, but that's the only way that I can think of to give you more Gold Club points. And that spend more time on the site helps.
That's right.
What doesn't help is turning the site on and then walking away for 3 hours. We're wise to that one. That won't work. So it's
Mhm.
active participation on the site.
That's right. And Robert, seems that you have been quite active recently, so I'm sure you're racking up the Gold Club points.
Yeah, they should be rising.
All right. Robert's last question is, when the death of a person occurs, how long should we wait until we can approach them to purchase their home so that they don't think that we're vultures?
We don't mail to the actual decedent. We mail to the lawyer, or if we can find who the kids are, we mail to them. And if not, we mail to the probate attorney. And we don't address it to the person that was in the house. And I got to tell you, I can think of at least 3 probate deals that we bought this year so far. So it does work to mail to probates. You should probably get a hold of Jeff Chandler at printmedia.com. Is that it? Or reiprintmedia.com?
REI Print Media.
Huh?
REI Print Media, you're right.
Okay. They're in the mailing business, been in it for 30 years. And we just mail postcards. We don't mail letters. In fact, we got, geez, I'm thinking right now we have 2 that are in probate, and we are waiting to probate to end before we can close on them. And I know of at least 2 more that we bought from probate. So you're on the right track.
That's right. All right, moving on to the next 3 questions. They are from Tony and Angie Stewart, who are out in Ohio.
Okay, that's up in Ohio.
Up in Ohio. Out and up. Yep.
Okay, where my wife is from. And by the way, where I am going in July, they don't say what city, huh?
September, I think. September 5th through the 8th, Columbus.
I got Columbus and Cincinnati. I'm doing a 1-day event in both of those cities, same event. And September the 8th it is? Okay, you say
Oh, that's
so.
the quick start event. I think your 1-day event in Cincinnati and Columbus are different dates.
Well, what month are, I mean, let's look here. For those folks that might be in the area, huh?
Yeah. Got good things coming up in Ohio.
28th and 29th of July. But we do have a boot camp in Ohio, when?
September 5th and through the
September.
8th.
September, I got September the 5th.
That's correct. 5th through the 8th.
Okay, whatever you say.
All right. Their question is, on the 4 LLC sheet, it says that we need checking accounts for each of the 4 LLCs. However, when you have discussed it, you have previously said that you only need checking accounts for 3 of the 4. Which is true?
The second, you don't need a checking account for D, as in dog, because it's not going to own anything, and probably no money will go through it, so no need for a checking account.
All right. This kind of piggybacks off that previous question. Their next question is, are there any concerns with having all of the LLC bank accounts at one bank or a credit union?
It might be a good idea to spread it out a little, but an LLC bank account is not your bank account. So you're not putting all your eggs in one basket there. But I would say this. Well, even if you had a loan with that bank and you defaulted, they still couldn't tap into your LLC bank account. So I don't know. It's one of those things that you probably shouldn't stay awake at night worrying about. Now, if you get a whole lot of money, you definitely want to spread it out with banks. But the truth is, it's probably not even something that should keep you awake at night for sure. I have several bank accounts, but on the other hand, I got an awful lot of LLCs. And even then, I bet they're not spread out over more than a total of 3 different banks.
Okay. There you go, guys. Their last question is, hi, Ron. I have decided to focus on Pretty House terms business exclusively. I am developing relationships with other investors so that if I get something outside of Pretty Houses or work for equity houses, I can pass off the property information sheets to them and collect a finder's fee or a favor to be redeemed at a later date. What are your thoughts on my decision?
I think you need to redecide your decision, because think about it. You're not going to find, if you focus just on terms deals, you're wasting all the money that's in the wholesaling deals. This year, we've made more money in wholesaling houses than we've made on the terms deals. And it's not a big negotiation. It's, what's the least you'll take. So you don't want to turn those down. They're just so easy. Put them under contract and you flip them and you're done. You get a check. First 2 deals we did this year, we made $82,000 on just 2 crappy, low-end houses. So if you look at my closing script, you'll also see that it starts with the terms questions. And if they just not going to do terms, then it goes into what is the least you could take if we paid you cash. Covers it all in one script now. So you're going to have a hard time doing terms deals without running across wholesale deals, and vice versa. So don't turn your back on either one of them, because both of them will make you money. And then there might be some house that you buy that there's enough spread in it where you want to rehab it and retail it. That's up to you. That's exactly where I'm at right now. In fact, a conversation with the agent selling a house for me just a few minutes ago went down that line. Do I wholesale it or do I rehab it? And she pointed out to me all the reports that she's got. The rehab's going to cost more than we anticipated. So we're probably just going to wholesale it. She's got a contract from a buyer, but it's a little less than what I wanted. So I told her I'm not going to take it, but she's trying to change my mind. She may have succeeded.
All right, perfect. Our next question is from Paul, who's in Texas. Paul says, I came across a sign that says third-party owner finance. Does that mean someone has a contract with the owner to do a wraparound mortgage?
Third-party owner finance. I'm not sure exactly what that is, and that's why that's a stupid sign. Nobody else knows either. do know in Texas, if you do owner financing, if you sell with owner financing, you need to get Scott Horn involved in it because you got separate rules there. There has to be an originator in the middle, and actually the note will be to the originator, and then the originator will assign the note to you. And it's not it's not cheap either. But the thing is, when you're selling them with owner financing like that, usually they pass the cost of that attorney bill on to the buyer, according to Scott. But I'll tell you that selling it with owner financing is not my favorite exit strategy. I'd rather you just lease option it. Separate rules in Texas as well. We've been over them several times. Scott Horn is the person to do that. Remember, it doesn't make any difference where the property is. He's in Texas. He's licensed in Texas. He can close the deals for you, including lease options. He gets $750 to close a lease option. Tenant buyer pays the fee. I'd rather see you hold the property than sell it with owner financing.
Yeah, that's right.
Multiple paydays, long time into the future, and just an eviction is all you need if they don't pay. But people tend to forget when I put a tenant in the house, it's a tenant buyer, big non-refundable deposit, 5 to 10%, sometimes more. Those kind of tenants don't act up. Okay, if they don't pay their rent, they are going to forfeit that big deposit, and they don't have the right to buy the house anymore. I'm telling you, it's a different world, tenants and tenant buyers. So if you're worried about having to evict them or whatever, don't worry about that. Get more deposit, because that's really your only safety factor.
Right. Keep the golden goose alive.
Yep.
All right, Ron, we come to our last question of the day, and this one's from Yong, who is up in New York. Yong says, what if a house looks ugly, both inside and outside appearance, which makes it less attractive to sell, but it does not require any repair? Does it still count as a pretty house and have higher risk if we buy using owner financing? What is the best way to own the property in this case?
Well, that's a complicated question. I'm always going to go for owner financing first. And there's no risk to you with owner financing as long as you buy it into a land trust and you don't personally guarantee any debt. There's no risk. So I don't worry about that, but I'd have to have more facts. I mean, this house is going to need a rehab or not going to be rehab. You say it's in good condition. That sounds like a terms deal to me. Buy it on terms and lease option it on terms is what I would do with it. And as you're watching this video today, I am in the middle of taping a brand new work for equity course on just that subject, which you'll be able to get in about 30 days. Too late for you to tune into the 2-day live training event, but just know that it's on the horizon. And I spent a lot of time re-upping that thing. I changed a lot of stuff in it as well. So it sounds to me like you got a work for equity terms deal where you buy it on terms and then you just put a tenant buyer in there on terms as well, but give them a discount off the retail price as long as they're going to do the work with their money and their labor. That's why we call them tenant buyers. It's one of my favorite exit strategies when I buy a house on terms that it needs a little work, but it's not big giant rehab. In fact, you can do the same thing if you're buying it for cash and borrowing your private money. As long as you stretch out that term on that private money, you can also sell them work for equity and not have to touch them. And you make a lot more money selling it on work for equity than you do rehabbing it if you do it right. But it takes longer to get it.
All right, Ron, I think that's all we have for today.
Okay, that's it. All right, let me see. Any upcoming events we need to tell them about? I don't think so.
We have our July quick start coming up, the 15th to the 18th.
Yeah. That's this month in Jacksonville, Florida. That's where you actually meet other humans in a room, not watching the screen for 4 days. And then I think the next one's a virtual, and I don't know how to schedule. Schedule's online anyway, but keep posted because we've been doing a lot of free stuff lately, and I don't want you to miss that. And you won't be able to get the work for equity course for free. Well, actually, nobody's getting it for free. They're just watching me tape it. But let's see, this is the end of June, long about August 1st, that course will be ready. It's one that you all need, save you a ton of money, and there's nobody else that I've met ever that will teach it. Actually, I discovered it by accident in the 80s. Somebody asked me if they could lease my house, and I was just beginning a rehab, and they wanted it as is, and I got to thinking, well, that ain't a bad idea. And sure enough, they leased the house and they did repair it and they went and got a loan on it. So I said, well, gosh, that might work again. And obviously it did. All right. Anyway, see you guys next week.